Paul Farbrace, a draw here against Warwickshire. What are your thoughts on this 4 days?
Yeah, look, I think we've just chatted up in the changing room. We probably missed some opportunities, certainly with the new ball first innings. I don't think we bowled well enough on that first morning, and I think we probably let Warwickshire get a little bit too settled a little bit too quickly. But we then fought back really well, and the last session on the first day was excellent. Got ourselves back into a good position, had them 7 down. I think they would be disappointed they didn't go on and get 500 plus really, so we were quite pleased to bowl them out for what we did, just over 400. And then batting wise, I thought we played really nicely until probably that half an hour after tea, where we lost wickets. We got bowled out for not many, and we were a bit disappointed with the way that we lost those wickets. But when you get 2 batters get 150, it doesn't matter whether it's a Cookabara, a Duke or a tennis ball, you get 150, you've got to play well. So I'm delighted with Coles, delighted that he's backed up his 100 at Durham. Daniel Hughes, who's perhaps been a bit lean by his standards, for him to get 150, fantastic. So look, Warwickshire are a very good team. They've got an excellent side there. There are a lot of very good players. So for us to come out with a good solid draw against them, a bit like the Durham game. Durham, we were perhaps on the back foot a little bit, certainly on the last day. This game, there was never a point where we were not going to win the game, certainly not going to lose the game. So actually, I think we would come out of this with a lot of positives.
A lot of correspondence during the match, Paul. I know it's a really boring question, but about the continued use of the Cookabara ball. We've got it now for 2 rounds after that. Unlike at Durham last week, the Warwickshire lads were even saying this is a good pitch. So do we put the draw here? Is the Cookabara ball a part of that ball?
Yeah, of course it is. The pitch was an excellent pitch. There was pace and carry with the new ball. We saw that. We also saw the ball spun. Rocky Oli, I thought, bowled excellently. I was very impressed with him. As much as I was impressed with his quality of bowling, I was also impressed with his enthusiasm for the game. I love the way he played the game. Every day he was out looking at the pitch. He was out there. I mean, he just, you could see the bloke absolutely loves playing the game. And to see the way he celebrated his wickets, shows how much enthusiasm he's got for the game. And that's really nice to see someone coming into the game as an overseas player having that passion and excitement for the game. So I was really pleased. Actually, I was quite pleased he got 6 wickets because he thoroughly deserved it, and he bowled intelligently, and he's obviously very skillful. So look, I think it was a very good pitch. I genuinely think that with the Duke's ball, I think it would have been a really exciting game of cricket. And it's a shame that the Cookabara just goes so soft in the middle that it's quite hard. But having said that, the reasons for bringing the Cookabara in, and at this time of the year, is you're hoping to get more spin overs bowled, which we saw from both teams. And you're hoping that your seamers can learn to get the ball to reverse swing or can get the ball to do something. But unfortunately, it's been quite tough for them the last 2 weeks. And it doesn't make things, when you chat to spectators around the ground, and all they're talking about is the ball, and you walk into the ground on the second day and the stewards are saying, oh, it's going to be a draw. We all know that already, and that's a shame, and I don't want to be defeatist and give up. We've said that we're going to play we've got to play with 4 rounds. The next game here is against Essex at the end of July, 22nd July. We'll have a similar sort of pitch. We'll have 12 or 14 mils of grass. We know that we'll have the carry. We know the ball will spin as the game unfolds. So we know that we've got to do better with it. And what we just said in there is, let's not just resign ourselves to the fact that we've got 2 games to go and they're going to be 2 draws. If there's a chance to nick a win or even 2 wins in that period, that puts us in a really good position going into the back end of September. We're 3rd in the table. We certainly were before this game. So we play good cricket. We're more than holding our own against the best teams in this division. But what we can't afford to do is to say, well, it's the Cookabara, so it's going to be a draw and give up before we even start. We've got to find a way to compete, and we've got to find a way to be a little bit more, perhaps a bit more thoughtful about how we approach the game. And perhaps also the little windows where we lost our wickets at the end of our first innings with the bat. Maybe if we'd got another 50 or 60 runs, they're batting with 160, 170 deficit, perhaps we could put a bit more pressure on them. And we definitely bowled much better at the end of the first day than we did at the beginning of the first day. And we definitely saw the ball if you're skillful enough, you can get the ball off the straight. So, we mustn't fall in the trap of just saying, oh, we've got 2 more games, they're just going to be boring draws. I hope that we can get a win out of at least one of them, and if we can get a win out of 2 of them, we know Scarborough will spin, so we're going to have to play well in Scarborough. We lost there last year, so we're going to have to play well to go up there and beat the Yorkies.
That being said, final question on the Cookabara, Paul. Does that mean there's some negotiation needs to be held before next season as to the use of the Cookabara? And when does that happen, and who gets involved in that?
Yeah, look, we had a meeting with Rob Key as the directors of cricket at the end of the season. So October time we had a meeting, and there was a lot of people in the meeting room that were against having the Cookabara at all, and we've agreed to have it. So it was put into the programme. We've got it, and I would imagine at the end of the season, there's a lot to be worked out. The new schedule for next year has got to be worked out, and I've said before, I'm very underwhelmed by what I've seen and heard for the schedule for next year. And there's never been a better opportunity in English cricket with the money that's coming in from the 100. The 100 gets a lot of stick because it takes up all of August. No test match cricket in August, no county cricket in August. We've just got the 50 over cup. So the 100 has come in, but actually if the 100, and it's done its job because it's brought new audiences in, and it's brought the opportunity for the women and girls game to absolutely grow. So it's brought the new audiences in, but it's also now just brought in an absolute boatload of money to English cricket. Now, if that money is used properly for all of the clubs involved, all 18 clubs, and recreational cricket as well, and youth cricket, then there's absolutely no reason why we can't have the best schedule possible without having to worry about the finances. But at the moment, we don't seem to be making any headway to that, and I haven't heard the latest, but the meetings that I've been involved with, I was very underwhelmed with. So, there is a chance we'll have the Cookabara again next year. But if there's a rhyme and reason, and the reason being that they want bowlers to learn to be more skillful and get the ball off the straight, spinners to be bowling overs. The downside to that is you look at a lot of counties, it's up to counties what they do. I'm not being critical of them at all. Every county does how they want to do it. But you look at a lot of counties have signed overseas spinners. So it's actually, we're not helping our young English spinners to bowl overs. You look around the scores, there's an awful lot of overseas bowlers coming into county cricket being signed for this window to help teams win. So actually, in a way, we shoot ourselves in the foot. We're playing with a Cookabara ball to encourage more spin overs, but then we're bringing overseas players to come and bowl those overs. Now, as I say, that's up to each county what they do. I've got no problem with that, and as I've already said, Rocky Oli in this game, thoroughly enjoyed watching him bowl, thoroughly enjoyed watching our batters play against him, and he's been a real test. So that's raised the standard of the county cricket, which is what you want county cricket to be the best it can be. But in terms of the ECB, if they're asking us to play the Cookabara ball because they want to upskill our players, and then we sign a load of overseas players, spinners, to come and bowl the overs, that almost shoots itself in the foot, doesn't it?
Have you heard anything about likely? We must be hit surely soon about this schedule, Paul, for next season. Is there any indication of when that might be?
Well, I haven't heard any in the last few days. I know there were meetings last week which I wasn't involved with because we had the game at Durham. Our chairman and our chief exec were involved in those meetings, but that's where it's at now. The ECB pretty much said to the counties, you sort out what you want. But as I say, the meeting I went to, the schedule didn't look a great deal different. They still looked at lawn Florida cricket, and as I say, there's never been a better time for the amount of money coming in to get the finances of who needs to play what games, what is the best for county cricket to produce players to play for England. County cricket exists to develop players to play for England. It exists to provide entertainment for members and supporters, and they're the two gists of what so it's a brilliant opportunity. I just hope as a game we don't miss it. But I've been involved in the game now for nearly 40 years in county cricket. I was lucky enough to start at the age of 18. I'm still involved somehow. I don't know how, but I'm still involved. The same things keep coming up. We play far too much cricket. The schedule doesn't work, and it's the same old thing time after time after time. And I'm hoping that we win the Ashes this year, just because it means we won't have another review into county cricket if we lose it.
Let's move on. T20 comes up now. Could you talk about injuries first of all? Harrison Ward and Tom Alsop injured down at Cardiff. What's the news on those for Friday at Canterbury?
So that they both have had fitness tests today. They've both been practicing all week. So we've had a small group: Nathan McAndrew, Tommy Alsop, Harrison, Danny Lamb. We've had a group of them practicing this week, which has been fantastic. And both Tommy Alsop and Harrison Ward look like they've got a chance of playing on Friday. Whether we risk both of them in the same game, and the other issue is obviously it's back-to-back games again, and that's where we had the problem before. But whether we play them both on Friday, or maybe one on Friday, one on Saturday, or we bite the bullet and just stick them both in, we'll have to see where we get to. Probably by tomorrow afternoon, I think we'll have a good idea.
James Coles went off the field today. What was the problem with James?
Yeah, he got a bit of cramp in his hamstring area. So he's never had problems with hamstrings before. He doesn't run fast enough to pull hamstrings, so it can't be a hamstring strain. But I think there's a bit of cramp just crept in there. So hopefully he'll be okay, because he's been an important player for us. We can't afford to lose him. But that's the big issue with the schedule, isn't it? The amount of cricket you play in. You finish this game. We were very lucky that we played on the Wednesday at the Oval and didn't play again until the Sunday in Durham. Other teams played on the Friday and went straight into the Sunday 4-day game. We're lucky that we were Wednesday. We had a few days to prepare. But obviously this game finishes. We've got practice tomorrow afternoon with those that need to practice, and then we're into a double header Friday, Saturday for the T20. So for the players, it's blinking hard work for them.
Finn Prentice went on loan to Derbyshire. Is he going to go back to Derby? What's the score with Finn?
No, he's staying with us, so he'll be in our squad for Canterbury and Hove for Friday and Saturday. So we only agreed the loan up to the break in the Championship, so but he'll definitely be in our squad for the next two games.
So it's not like the FA Cup where you get cup tied if you play for another county?
Well, I hope not, because if that's the rule, then I've messed up.
I don't know. Someone asked me, and I said I've got an idea. I said Paul Farbrace, no.
Yeah, I might have to check that one tonight then.
But looking ahead, Kent, haven't played him yet. 2 games home and away. Adam Hollyoake in charge. I guess something that you would know from your time in cricket, and it's a bit of an in and out season, really.
They have, but they've got a very dangerous side, Kent, in T20 cricket. They've got a lot of very good players, a lot of match winners. I follow Kent very closely. I want Kent to do well as a team, because that's my home county. That's why I grew up watching the game. But I hope that for Friday night at Canterbury, next Wednesday here, they're on the wrong end of the game. But I think Kent have got a really exciting team. Sam Millie's one of the best captains in T20 cricket, not just England but across the world. So they've got some seriously dangerous players, and we're going to have to play really well to beat them. But the games we've got, I've just said to lads, we're in a great position in the 2 main competitions, 3rd in both at this point. We've got an opportunity to qualify for the quarter-final. 7 games to go. You probably have got to win 4 of them to get that qualification. We had a home quarter-final last year, which was absolutely magnificent. It was brilliant for everyone around the club. Players, supporters, office staff, ground staff, everyone. It was a brilliant occasion, and we want to be involved. So we know that the great thing is that with 7 games to go, we're in a really good position, and we're playing good cricket, and we know we've still got areas we've got to get better at. So the next 2 weeks of T20s, I'm